Alright, hello and welcome to another CAD tutorial. So for this tutorial, I'll be doing my assignment number 4, figure 1. So this is my figure 1. So in this series, I'll be doing 4 figures. So this will be the first figure, second figure, third, and fourth. These are all fairly easy since they're all just playing around with patterns, extrudes, and extrude cuts. Alright, so without further ado, let's begin with our first figure right here. First, let's look at its dimensions. So dimensions, it should be in inches, right? So let's start off with a new part. Let's keep that in mind. So start off with a new part, let that load. And we are going to change the MMGS to IPS, alright? You can see that in the bottom right corner of your screen, right? And now we are on our part. So for preferences reasons, so my personal preferences, I'd like to change my drafting standards from ISO to ANSI or ANSI because I think their dimensions are a lot better and they're a lot similar to our figure right here. Alright, so let's just zoom in to our figure. Right? So this is our thing right there. This is it once we're done. Alright, so first, let's sketch on the top plane, and let's copy this pattern right here, and the circular form, right? So we're gonna get the profile. Let's go to the top plane, click sketch, and we are now automatically on its normal. So let's start off with a circle. Oops. Alright, now let's escape that. Let's start off with a circle. From the center point, all the way. Oops, let me just do that again. Sometimes it doesn't really click. Alright, so there you go. So let's start off first with a circle. A reasonably large circle, right? And in the center, we are going to get another circle. That starts off from the origin. Alright. Now we are going to define this circle. So we're going to go to Smart Dimensions, click on the large circle, and we are going to give it a dimension of 5.75. 5.75. Click Enter. So that's 5.75 inches. And this circle here, we're going to define that as 3.38. Alright, so 3.38. Alright. So now we have these two circles that are coincentric to each other. Well, they don't really have that relation, but I'd like to call them, they are coincentric, right? So now what we're going to do is we're going to copy this pattern right here. These pattern of circles, or holes, so that we don't have to extrude cut them later. So we're going to take a circle, and heck, we can even make a circle here outside of our figure. So we are going to define this circle and give it a radius. A dimension of 0.44. 0.44. All right, so that's our diameter for our circle right there. And now we're going to put this in place by putting it 2.13 inches away from the center, as you can see here. So from the center to the center of our circle, it's 2.13 inches. So now we're going to take Smart Dimensions, click on the center of this circle and our origin, and we are going to give it a dimension of 2.13. 2.13. Right? That's the vertical dimension. Right? Now let's give it a relation so that it will now be here. Right? So let's click on the origin plane, hold Control, and click on. Let's do that again, and click on the center point of our circle. And we're going to set that as vertical. And there you go. So let's jump far away. There you go. So that's our figure right there. And now we are going to recreate this circle around this circle, right? So we can do that by going to the linear sketch pattern. On the drop down menu, click circular sketch pattern, select our circle, right? And select here 2.13 from the center, right? There you go. Actually, it just automatically does that, I think. If it doesn't, then just please copy this down, this left panel. So we need 4 instances. Oh wait, no. We still need to change the number of instances. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 instances of the same circle. So from 4, we're going to change that into 8. All right. This point 1 should be the center point, right? So for example, imagine if I delete this, and now it becomes, right now, never mind. Yeah, let's just set this, yeah. All right, so that's all good. And now as you can see, they're not yet all defined. If you want to define this, we can select this center of the circle and our origin, and we can select the relation as horizontal, and select the center of this circle again, and this origin, and select that as vertical. So now they're all defined. All right, so that's done. That's our profile right there, as you can see, right? We are now going to extrude boss base. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to extrude this upwards, right? We're going to extrude that upwards with the height of 1.5 inches. So we're going to change the dimension here to 1.5 inches right there. All right, so click OK, click the check mark, and there you go. We have our roughly our shape, right? It's a donut. But then, as you can see here, it's a hollowed out donut. It's an even hollowed out donut, right? So what we're gonna do is we're going to extrude this circle right here. This circle, we're going to extrude that. All right. So now our drawing doesn't really give us a dimension for this circle. It doesn't give us the diameter of this circle, this inner circle right here, right? But they've given us something even better. Or like they've given us plenty of information. So we know that from the center of our object right here, the origin, all the way to the center of this circle is 2.13 inches, right? And then from this line, from this point to the outer circle, from the center of the circle to the perimeter of our larger circle, it's 0.4. So we add 0.4 plus 2.13, we get 2.53. All right. So now we're going to set this as our normal. Okay. And we are going to select this phase right here, the top face, right click, sketch, right? Now it shows us our origin right there in the center. All right. So now we click normal for sketch through. So this is now our normal. We create a circle from the center all the way beyond our holes, right? Roughly around that area. Okay. And now let's define that circle by giving it a dimension of 2.53, right? This to this has 2.53. Oh no, so it's the radius is 2.53. So 2.53 times 2 is 5.06. Right, there you go. So now let's exit sketch. And now we have our circle there. Let's click on extrude cut. Right, as you can see, it goes all the way to the back, but we don't want that. We want it to be 0.31 right there. we want the thickness to be 0.31. So that's 1.5 minus 0.31. That's 1.19. All right. So we're going to make our cut as 1.19. Again, why is it 1.19? Because we minused 0.31 to 1.50. That's 1.19. Right? Right. Yeah, I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it. And there you go. See? Now it's cut, but it's not all the way cut, if you know what I mean. All right? Let's set this as our normal. Okay. Now what we're gonna do, okay, this looks good. This looks good. Now what we're gonna do is we're going to select this face right here, the outer face, and right click on it and select sketch. We are now going to make this figure right here. Okay? These figures, these objects are here. Alright? Now what we could do there is we could select a line, right? Create a horizontal line. It doesn't have to be on any particular length. Select that line, hold control, and our circle. We should make the relation of this line and this circle as tangent. Right? So now it's stuck with this line. So no matter where I move this line, yep, you can't even move it. Alright, cool. Oh yeah, no, you can still move it, but you can only move it by extending it. So now this line is tangent with this circle. Okay? We're going to select another circle, since we want to create this arc right here, right? And another hole right here. So in order for us to do that, we need to find out where the center of this circle is, right? So for me, if I take circle and then I hover my mouse somewhere around here, it shows, but I'm not really sure that it is the circle, the center of this circle. So in order for us to be sure, what we can do, select normal, what we can do there is we can press on the boss extrude 1, hit the drop down menu, and look for sketch number 1. So our sketch number 1 is our sketch number 1, and we're just going to select show. Right click and show. Right? As you can see now, we have our sketch number 1 here in gray lines, right? And we can also see the point right there of where our circle is drawn, all right? So that, again, let's select this as our normal, okay? We're going to select circle, and from the center of our circle, right here, we are going to make another circle. Okay, let me just, oops. So select that. We're going to make another circle and just make it the same as our hole right there. So 0.44. All right. And then we are going to make another circle. So from the center point here again, extend that outward beyond this hole, right? With any given diameter, because we are still going to define it. So click Smart Dimensions. And now let's define this. Its dimension is radius 0.44. Alright, so what's the 0.44 radius. Its given diameter should be 0.88, because 0.44 times 2 is 0.88. Right? So and that. Let's see how big this thing is. Oh, there you go. Let's just make sure. There. Let's just make sure by giving it a dimension of 0.44. Alright, so that's done. Let's create another, let's select another line. And let's create 2 vertical lines, right? On each side of our circle. So one here and one there. They don't have to be the same length. We can do whatever length you want. because we are going to trim it either ways. So now let's select this line here and this circle here, and we want them as tangent, okay? And we want this line here and this circle here, and we select them as tangent again. So now this circle is tangent with this line, and this line, right? So automatically, if that's in tangent with those lines, the distance from this point, this cross section to this tangent right here should be 0.4 right there, right? We can prove that by trimming. So now let's just trim. All right, let's trim this, trim that, trim this, and that. Oops. Right there. So now let's prove our theory that from this point to this point is 0.4. Smart dimensions, click on this, and look, would you look at that? It's now 0.4, and if we add that, it's going to make it over-defined, but not really, since, you know, it's now gray. But yeah, as you can see, it's now 0.4. Yeah, there you go. So once that's done, what we're going to do is two things, right? You could either extrude this, and from that extruded create a solid body or a solid part, and just recreate that by selecting circular pattern with that object, right? But it won't look neat. So in order for us to achieve this neatness, where this one is merged with the actual object, we need to first create this circular pattern, right? So first let's select this, 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 and this, right? And there you go. It's pretty straightforward. It's pretty intuitive. That's why SolidWorks is the best for creating solid parts and 3D modeling, because it's very intuitive. But just in case that it doesn't show, you need to make your point 1 here as your center point there, right? And then make it 4 instances, and then make the radius 2.13, and so on and so forth. So just copy all this down, right? Equal spacing, and there you go. So we click OK, right? Now they're not fully defined yet, as you can see, because they're still blue, right? But we don't really need to like define them, since we only need to take a screenshot of this either ways. So now let's go to features and select extrude boss base. So now as you can see, all of this is now extruding outwards, right? It's extruding towards the top instead of inward. So we don't want that. Let's change the direction by clicking on this, reverse direction, right? And the distance that we want for the extrusion should be 0.31. 0.31. Alright. And make sure that your merge result is checked so that it will be smooth. So we click check, and there you go. That's our, let's just hide our sketch 1 by clicking on it, right click, and selecting hide. There you go. That's our object right there. Right? It looks similar to this. By the way, earlier, during our, let's just edit feature. Earlier, if you did not select merge result, it would look something like this. It will be okay, but it won't be neat. You can see, as you can see here, it shows borders or edges, right? These black edges along our pattern. It's not smooth. So in order to smoothen that out, let's select edit feature and select merge result. Merge result is a powerful command because it allows our body that we made to merge with the shown body with this one. Alright? So now that's done, let's just click Control 7, and that looks exactly like this one, right? Alright, so I hope you've learned something about this lesson again, or this figure number 1, assignment number 4, and I'll see you guys on my next video. Bye!